שמחה, אור זרוע לצדיק ולישרי לב שמחה, אור זרוע לצדיק ולישרי לב שמחה, אור זרוע לצדיק ולישרי לב שמחה. לצדיק ולישרי לב שמחה.
את כל הכוכבים תמן, את הסהר עטף בשחור, מצפון ועד תימן אין קרן אור.
אור זרוע לצדיק ולישרי לב שמחה, אור זרוע לצדיק ולישרי לב שמחה, אור זרוע לצדיק ולישרי לב שמחה, אור זרוע לצדיק
As a rabbi of the Ark Synagogue, I have the privilege to hop on my ark and travel on a Shabbat. I can do that because Shabbat is celebrated in many time zones. And this evening, to start the evening, I traveled to Lutsk, one of our twin communities, and had the privilege of reciting Shema and leading Kiddush for the community. And now, as you can just see, we're joined by our twin community in Lviv, the Teva congregation. Teva, the word for ark. And so all together we join, both in solidarity of all of our Jewish communities around the globe, whether they be in Russia or Belarus, and especially on the Shabbats for those in Ukraine. We join together with everybody in their own sanctuaries as we gather to light our Shabbat candles to welcome in what we hope is a time of peace. Would you please rise?
Baruch ato Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvos sov, v'tzivonu lahadlik nea shel Shabbat.
Amen.
Amen.
Please be seated.
Shalom Aleichem, Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharei, Malachei
לקחת אותי לקראת כלה, פני שבת, פני שבת נקבלה, לקחת אותי לקראת כלה, פני שבת, פני שבת נקבלה, שמור וזכור בדיבור אחד, השמיענו אל המיוחד, אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, לשמו תפארת ולתהילה, לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי היא מקור הברכה, מראש מכם נשואה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה, לקחת אותי לקראת כלה, בני שבת, בני שבת נקבלה, לקחת אותי לקראת כלה, בני שבת, בני שבת נקבלה, התעוררי, התעוררי, כי בהורג קומי, אורי, אורי, שתעברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה, בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובשולה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה, בואי חלה, בואי חלה, בואי חלה, לקחת אותי לקראת כלה, בני שבת, בני שבת נקבלה, לקחת אותי לקראת כלה, בני שבת, בני שבת נקבלה. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, וזמר לשמך עליון, וזמר לשמך עליון, להגיד בבוקר חסדך, באמונתך בלילות. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני. We are not unique in facing trauma and conflicts in the world around us and also in our lives as well. So when we come to a Kabbalat Shabbat, a time for us to create peace and time in our lives, it helps to know that we are joined in the need across time. As Rabbi Israel Matuk, the first rabbi of the liberal Jewish synagogue, once wrote, "In my great need for light, I look to you. Eternal God, help me to feel your presence, even when dark shadows fall upon me. When my own weakness and the storms of life hide you from my sight, help me to know that you have not deserted me. Uphold me with the comfort of your love. Give me trust, O God. Give me peace and give me light. May my heart find its rest in you." Please rise. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie.
Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach
Please be seated. And it's wonderful to have recognition all the way from Lviv that we had storms today here in Northwood and Pinner and our local areas. All the incredible nature that we have seen, maybe some of you through the storm which came through on Wednesday evening as well, saw a full moon as well as we did in the middle of the Devon countryside. Whatever the last sign of nature that's found you losing your breath, finding yourself saying, "Oh my God," let us have that thought and that picture, that experience in mind as we say together, "We praise you, Eternal One, our God, Sovereign of the universe, whose word brings on the evening, whose wisdom opens heaven's gates, whose understanding changes times and seasons, and whose will set the stars in their courses in the sky. You make day and night, rolling light away from darkness, and darkness from light. You make day pass and bring on the night, and separate day from night. You rule the hosts of heaven. We praise you, O God, whose word makes evening fall." Ahavat olam beit Yisrael, Amcha ahavata, Amcha ahavata. Torah u'mitzvot ukimu mishpach
Yisrael, Ohev Amo Yisrael.
Please rise.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kavod, Shem Kavod Malchuto.
Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavecha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol mo'odecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi metzavacha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'veitecha u'v'lechtecha v'derech u'v'shochbecha u'v'kumecha u'kshaltam le'ot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot bein einecha u'chtavtam al mezuzot beitecha u'vish arecha. Please be seated. All this we hold to be true and sure. You alone, eternal one, are our God, and we are Israel, your people. You have freed us from oppressors and delivered us from tyrants. You led us out of Egypt forever to serve you in freedom. When we witnessed your power, we praised your name and gave thanks. Willingly, we accepted your rule, and then, full of joy, we sang together.
Won't you help to sing these songs of freedom? 'Cause all I ever had, redemption song. These songs of freedom, redemption song. These songs of freedom. Hashtivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, v'hamidenu malkeinu l'chaim. Spread the shelter of your peace over us. Save us for the sake of your name. Shield us from hatred, sorrow, and pain. Hashtivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, v'hamidenu Please rise. Da 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 da. Da 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 da, da 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 da, da 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 da, da 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 da. Adonai, Savatai Tita, Ufia Hagi, Tehilateha. Adonai, Savatai Tita, Ufia Hagi, Tehilateha. Da 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 da, da 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 da,
da 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 da. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanura, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim v'Konei Hakol, Zocher Chastei Avot v'Imachot, U'mevii Geula livnei v'neihem, L'ma'an Shemo ba'achava, Melech Hozeh u'Mashiach u'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'ezrat Sarah. At Gibora le'olam Shaddai, Machaya metim at Rabbah lo'Hoshia, source of all, your vital energy sustains our world, redeeming it from lifelessness. The wind blows and the rain falls, the sun shines and the dew descends. With love you sustain the living, with greater compassion you embrace the dead in life. You are the support of the falling, the healing of the sick, and the release of the captive, keeping faith with those who sleep in the dust. Who is like you, source of all strength? Who is your equal, mighty author of life and death, planting the seeds of redemption? Trusting in you, we see life beyond death. Blessed are you, Almighty, embracing the dead within life. Kadosh atah v'norah shemecha, ve'in lanu Eloah mibaladecha, Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh. Please be seated.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם. ברית עולם ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, וביום השביעי שבת שבת ויהי נפש, שבת שבת ויהי נפש, שבת שבת ויהי נפש, שבת שבת ויהי נפש.
Let us continue together. Our God and God of our ancestors, may our rest on this day be pleasing in your sight. Sanctify us by your commandments and make us loyal to your teaching. Satisfy us with your goodness, gladden us with your salvation, and purify our hearts that we may serve you in truth. In your gracious love, eternal one, let the holiness of your Sabbath enter our hearts, and may all Israel who hallow your name be exalted by its peace. We praise you, O God, for the holiness of the Sabbath. Ritzei Adonai Eloheinu ba'amacha Yisrael, u'tefilatam b'havat kabel, u'tehil ratzon tamid avodat Yisrael amecha. Baruch atah Adonai, she'otecha levadecha, b'yirah na'avod. And together, Modim anachnu lach, Shata hu Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu le'olam va'ed. Tzor chayenu magei nishenu, Ata hu l'dor v'ador. Nodeh lecha u'nesaper tehilatecha, Al chayenu hamasurim b'yadecha, V'al nishmotenu habakodot lach, V'al nisecha shebechol yom imanu, V'al niflotecha v'tovotecha, Shebechol eitz erev v'voker v'tochorayim, Baruch atah Adonai, Hatov shimcha u'lacha na'eh lehodot.
Shalom Rav Yisrael Tasim le'olam.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael Tasim le'olam. Ki ata hu melech adon b'chol hashalom. Ki ata hu melech adon b'chol hashalom. Shalom Rav al Yisrael tasim le'olam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael tasim le'olam. V'tov be'enecha levarech et amcha Yisrael b'chol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rav al Yisrael tasim le'olam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael tasim le'olam. Tasim le'olam. Tasim le'olam.
Rabbi John Rayner wrote, "It is not enough to pray for peace. We have to work for it, to challenge those who foster conflict and refute their propaganda, to ascertain and make known the truth, both when it confirms and when it runs counter to conventional views, to denounce injustice not only when it is committed against us, but also when it is committed against others, to defend human rights, not only ours, but theirs, to insist that peace requires sacrifice of pride or wealth or territory, to practice and promote the way of moderation, compromise and reconciliation, and to build bridges of respect and understanding, trust and friendship across the chasms that divide humanity. In Israel this week, there was so much debate and talk amongst communities of Israelis, Jews, who had come from Ukraine and who had come from Russia. People talking with each other, not always agreeing, and then to pick up the telephone or nowadays a Zoom call, and to be able to connect with our fellow progressive Jews in Russia, Belarus, and Ukraine, to speak to people. It is not enough just for us to pray for peace, but we also need to work for it. Sometimes just by reaching out to our friends and communities who cross divides, trying to better understand, but most importantly, to support, to work with them, to bring peace for them, for us, and for all humanity. Just for a moment, let us pause. Our prayers end with youthful optimism and a beautiful swing. Would you please rise for our concluding prayers? Aleinu l'shabeach la'adon hakol, la'teit gdula liotze bereshit, asher sam chelkeinu li'ached et shemo, v'gor aleinu lahamlich malchuto. On this day, let us dedicate ourselves anew to the task that our ancestors tried in all their higher moments to fulfill, to bring nearer a time when all your children will understand that they are brothers and sisters, so that one in spirit and fellowship, they may be forever united before you. Then shall your sovereignty be established on earth, and the word of your prophet shall be fulfilled.
Adonai, Melech Adonai, Malach Adonai, Yimloch le'olam va'ed.
We remember those who died in recent days, and those who died at this time of the year in years gone by. In our congregation, we recall the yahrzeits of Alice Dralish, the mother of Jill Ter Havanassian and grandmother of Greg and Sylvie. Brenda Schrager, the mother of Angela Conradi. Lionel Henry Weiser, the father of Susan Minton. Maurice Parad, the grandfather of Ellie Dankner. Mildred Schwartz, the mother of Ros Taylor, grandmother of Gabriella, Cassie, Julia, and David. And Shirley Mablin, the grandmother of Katie, Bain, and Gemma, mother of Graham. And we're deeply saddened to announce the death this week of our member Clive Austin, the husband of Barbara, father of Beverly and Graham, stepfather, grandfather, and great-grandfather. Zecher tzadikim livracha. May all that was dear and good in their lives endure always as a blessing and as a continual influence for good. As we say together, Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divrach Yerutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, ba'agalau v'zman kariv v'imru Amen. Yehei shemei Rabbah mavarach le'olam u'lalmei almaya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'a v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'tada v'talei v'talal shemei dekudisha b'richu. Le'ela min ko birchata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechemata, da'amiran ba'ama v'imru. Amen. Hesh lama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru. Amen. Osei shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'al kol b'nei Adam, v'imru. Amen. May great peace descend from heaven and abundant life be granted to us, to all Israel, to all humanity, and to all those who mourn. And let us say, Amen. Please be seated. I get very discombobulated when Rabbi Leah isn't around. I watched last week's service and thought, why does she have the candles in the center? Now I understand, because there's lots of different camera views that you're using. So I put them over there. They're still here, I promise you, especially when Richard pans out. How can we be in two different places at the same time? Well, in this world we can be. Tomorrow morning we have two services that you could choose from. At the Liberal Jewish Synagogue, we together with the rest of Liberal Judaism are celebrating, in a service at least, the beginning of our 120th anniversary year. We have already contributed to the service, so we can be in two places at the same time, because here in the Ark Synagogue sanctuary we'll be celebrating a bat mitzvah, an adult bat mitzvah, that of Nicolette Porcheron. It was a little bit of a long time in coming, but it's here now, and we look forward to celebrating with her tomorrow. Please do join us in the sanctuary or online, and if you're at the LGS, that you can watch later, and so that you can leave your messages of Mazel Tov to Nicolette online, so that she has a record of you signing her Bar Mitzvah book. But for now, there couldn't be a better way for us to end than with a song and holding hands across the globe. We hope that everybody who has been joining us now across time zones, continents, has felt a little bit of peace this evening, just as we have felt a little bit of peace unfolding, we hope, within this sanctuary. And also a sense of optimism as well, brought about by having young people playing beautiful music and singing the words of our ancestors. Yad b'yad, echad im hasheni, am echad im lev echad, keinanu nadlik, nadlik mesuat olam, nadlika kekam echad, yad b'yad echad echad, keinanu nadlik, im en kemach en Torah, im en Torah en kemach, im en kemach en Torah. sharing, hand in hand. It can be you, it can be me, it can be all of the people all over the world, caring and sharing, hand in hand. It can be you, it can be me, it can be all of the people all over the world, caring and sharing, hand in hand. It can be you, it can be me, it can be all of the people all over the world, caring and sharing, hand in hand. Please rise. Adonai yishmor tzeitecha uvoecha me'ata ve'adolam. May the Eternal One guard our coming in and then our going out, now and always. Amen. Shabbat shalom to all of you in the sanctuary. Shabbat shalom to everybody who's now streaming into our Kiddush Zoom room. Jill, maybe you can just hand around the wines to everybody in the sanctuary, and we hope that all of you at home have a goblet, a becher, a cup to be able to share. Ellie, it's wonderful to see you in Cape Cod, and we also wish you good life as you remember the yahrzeit of your grandfather, and to all of those now joining us. For those who are on our live stream, please stay where you are to celebrate Kiddush together. Then we're going to be switching to our Zoom room and saying goodbye to you. So please do dive in there if you want to continue and to meet and greet all of friends and family as well. Lovely to see Isabella over in Dublin, I think still. Shabbat shalom. And mum and dad just literally up the road. Dave, Ali down on the south coast. Oh gosh, Ali down on the south coast. You must have been blown away today, I'm sure. Also, our student rabbi, Natalie, studying in Germany at Geiger College. It's wonderful that we can bring everybody together. And as well as a David Goldberg, and I'm sure a Carla in the background across in Ireland, where I'm coming over in a few weeks' time, actually, so maybe we'll be able to bump into each other. But for now, let us recite the blessings all together. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho b'ahava u'b'ratzon hinhilanu, zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit, ki hu yom tehillah lemikra hekodesh, zecher letziat Mitzrayim, ki banu v'chata v'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim, v'shabbat kodshecha b'ahava u'b'ratzon hinchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat. Amen. L'chaim. Oh, I needed that. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Shabbat shalom to all on our live stream, and we hope you'll join us tomorrow morning.
Oh.